Hello guys, welcome to this guide on how to climb with Rengar. First off, let's look at why you want to play this comp right now. It's a great counter to backline carriers like Saya, Zoom, or Azel, and Swain, who you do carry in this comp, got buffed the last 3 patches, so he's stronger now than ever. And most importantly, this comp is really effective to climb with. Once you learn the transitions, this build will print your LP. The win condition for this comp is to hit Rengar 3 and to swarm your board with Darkflight units and assassins, while getting solid tanky items on your Swain. In this comp, we use Darkflight to sacrifice an uncraftable item, giving our team Darkflight essence, greatly increasing their stats. Rengar jumps to the backline and assassinates the enemy carry, while Swain tanks the whole enemy team and burns them with Morello. As your other Darkflight units die, Swain and Rengar gain more and more stacks, and if the fights do go into overtime, Swain will turn into a 1v9 machine and clean up the whole board. Swain's best in slot is Morello and Bramble Vest. And as a third item, he can use Declaw, Stoneblade, and he also works with Bloodthirster. You can also build Redemption, which works great into Kaiser reroll. Swain does not need damage items. The healing from his ability does not scale with AP at all, and his main role in this comp is to provide your team with frontline and tankiness. Meanwhile, Rengar's BAS is Infinity Edge and Runance. And for the third item, he can use Hodge, Bloodthirster, Deathblade or Last Whisper. A key component to playing this comp is getting the Darkflight essence. And to get this, you need to get your hands on an uncraftable item. This can either be an emblem, an Ornn item, Radiant item or a Fawn. You can use any emblem, but ideally you want one that also gives you a useful trait for your team. This can either be Assassin, Cavalier, Cannoneer or Darkflight. And the same goes for Ornn items and Radiant items. You can use any one of them, but ideally, you want to sacrifice items that provide your board with a bonus before being made into Darkflight essence. Like Randuin's, Radiant Shroud or Radiant Trapclaw. In some games you might not get your hands on the Darkflight essence right away, and in that case some really good items to copy are Protector's Vow, Seeks and Shroud. But these items should only be utilized early to mid game, and you should always aim for the Darkflight essence. Since you want to save one item slot for Darkflight essence, for the majority of your game you only want 2 items on your carriers. You want to wait with slamming the third item on your carriers until the very late stage of the game to get the most out of your Darkflight essence. On the first carousel in the game, you want to go for Bow, Sword or Glove that builds into Rengar items, or you can go for Chain that builds into Swain items. Early game, you want to play around these core units. The main goal of the early game is to get Astros online, and since we don't really stabilize until we hit Rengar and Swain, you just want to sack the early game, try to lose streak and make as much econ as possible. If you hit any Rengars, you want to hold them on your bench, but don't hold Rel and Aphelios, because those we can always hit later. Go for the econ instead. At level 5 we can play Gnar for Shapeshifter, and then you want to stack your Rengar items on Nidalee, your tanky items on Malphite, and your Morello on Lux. If you hit a Silas, you want to play him over Malphite. And then at level 6 we can play a mage, giving us 3 mages. And for this opener we can also carry Varus with the exact same items. In that case we want to swap out Gnar and play a Swiftshot unit instead, with Twitch being the best one, also providing guild for our team. And now we get into the most difficult part of playing this comp, the transition into Rengar and Darkflight. If you took a lot of losses in the early game and you're low on HP, you want to make the transition on 3-5. Ideally you can get to Wolves with more than 40 HP, and then you can do the transition on 4-1. It can really help you a lot to start doing the transition into Wolves, so you get an extra round to do it. And don't worry about losing a bit of econ from doing this. Hitting the board without getting super dizzy is much more important. To do the transition, you want to level to 7, and then you want to roll for these core units. Don't stop rolling until you hit Rengar 2 and 1 Swain. Put the Morello and the tanky item on Swain, and the damage items on Rengar. And then you want to put the uncraftable item on Qiyana, who we sacrifice, but who also gives Assassin to Rengar. We're level 7 now, so we have another spot on our team, and here you just want to play another Darkflight unit, for even more Darkflight essence and more stacks for Swain and Rengar. For the mid game you can also play an extra Rengar, and then you can itemize the second Rengar for even more backline access. Once you've hit this board, you want to go level 8 and play another Darkflight unit for even more stacks. At level 8 you want to keep on rolling, for Swain 2 if you haven't already hit him, but also for Rengar 3. Once you have the Rengar 3 in your shop, you want to put the Rengar with your Runans and IE on the board. This way you can make sure that the 3-star Rengar is going to have the Runans and the IE on him. We can then play a Nyla and put the item that bounced off on her. This gives us 3 Assassin, so now you want to play Diana over one of the Rels, giving us 4 Assassin, and making this Rengar absolutely deadly. At this stage of the game you want to put the 3rd item on Swain, and if you're uncontested you can stay level 8 and try to roll for Swain 3 as well. The more safe play though is to go level 9 and play another Darkflight unit. And that's it for the boards. Now let's take a look at the best augments for playing this comp. Rich Get Richer, AFK, Calculated Loss and March of Progress are all great econ augments for this comp. They're gonna help you get your early econ going, resulting in you having a lot more gold at level 7 to roll for Rengar. The odds of hitting Rengar at level 7 if you load a Dicem are pretty decent, so High Roller can result in a really easy Rengar 3. Meanwhile, Double Trouble is S tier, you're gonna be running 2 Rengars on your board most of the game anyways, and this is just even more stats on top of what they already get from Darkflight Essence. Preparation can also provide some really solid stats for both Rengar and Swain. If you get this augment, you want to roll it down on 3-5, so you can prepare your units on your bench before you play them on stage 4. Celestial Blessing and Thrill of the Hunt are great for healing. They're gonna make your Swain go infinite and give your Rengar some much needed survivability. Portable and Living Forge can provide you with Worn items, which you can use to get Darkflight Essence, and you can also put them on Swain or Rengar. The same goes for Ancient Archives, all of these crests and Earth's Grab Bag. They're all here as a means of getting Darkflight Essence on your board. Cybernetic Implants is AD for Rengar and health for your team, and it's very easy to activate because of the item you get from Darkflight. And lastly, we have Woodland Charm. This usually gives you another Swain on your board, which means a lot more stall for your team and even more Darkflight Essence. And that is the end of this video. If you found this useful, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.